We have accomplished quite a lot in the past 2 years. When we met, it was just the beginning. When I saw you 2 years ago, we were starting with only a few projects, and since then we have received requests from wine estate up to 350 requests. So we have had to select out of these 350 requests the best ones, and we have only selected 15 so far. So
15?
Yeah, 15, 1-5. So it's been very selective. The criteria that we use is the main one. The first one is the quality of the wine. So this is what we call the enological due diligence. Any wine funder who receives wine after having contributed on WineFunding, he must be happy with the quality of the wine, because it's about sharing. WineFunding is about sharing the experience. You, as a wine funder, you share the adventure of wine with the wine grower, and then you share the wines with your friends. So we want people to enjoy when they share the wine. This is the first criteria. Then our second criteria is the story behind the wine. We are looking at wine growers who have a different approach, who are creative, or who try to do things differently, who have a nice and compelling story to tell. And this is very important because people want to be part of it. So it has to be an interesting story. And we are try to be fairly open-minded in a way that we value initiatives and innovation from wine growers. And we'd love to do a project in unknown areas to bring it to the wine funders. WineFunding started with equity crowdfunding. The idea was to bring equity investment to the wine estates, which are very often undercapitalized. They rely mainly on debt and they need equity. So this was the reason why we started WineFunding. We've done several projects with this model, and we've also met a lot of wine lovers who wanted to be part of the adventure but didn't have that much money to invest. We start with a very low investment, depending on a project. Sometimes you can become shareholder with only 500 euros, and you can become a small shareholder, but you're still part of the adventure, and you can also, in some other project, invest several hundred thousands of euros. So equity it can be small or big, depending on the type of investment. But we wanted to innovate as well. Some of the wine growers came to me and they wanted to to finance, for example, the aging of their wine, because they are supplying wine to restaurants who want older vintages. And the bank didn't want to lend them money to keep some wine. They told them, you must sell the wine. So we found an innovative scheme whereby we finance the stock of wine. So we bring 150,000 from 30 different wine funders. Each one put on average 5,000 euros. They receive 1,000 euros every year for 5 years, and they invest the interest paid in wine. So after 5 years, they've recouped their initial investment of 5,000 euros on their bank account, every year 1,000 euros, and they receive one case of wine, which represents 10% interest in wine. This is what we call the wine bond. This is an invention. We've made it a financial product. It's a real security where you actually subscribe online, you sign the subscription form online, you pay online, everything is online. But it's a proper financial security. And the difference with the normal bond is that you get your principal paid back in euros on your bank account, and your interest is delivered to your door in the form of bottles of wine. Okay, this is another model that we use for smaller projects and for smaller contribution. You would, for example, as a wine funder, bring 400 euros on the table, and you will receive 100 euro of wine every year for 5 years. So you get, at the end of 5 years, you get 500 euros value of wine, but you only paid 400 euros. Because you bring the cash now to the wine estate, he uses the money to finance his project. It can be to buy equipment, to plant a vineyard. He gets the money now, and he pays you back in wine over several years. So because you offer him a cash advance, he in return gives you a discount on the price. So you pay less for what you get. We have very different projects in different regions, actually. It's very interesting for us to show all the different wine regions that we have in France for now. And we are also, this would be maybe when we meet in a few months, we will also offer investment in wine estates outside of France. But already in France, there's quite a lot of things to do. We have selected here different estates. One in Bordeaux, in Blaye, who is the first one here on the left of the table. And it's a wine that is wants to be certified organic. So they need to buy equipment to be able to spray the vineyard more efficiently to convert to organic agriculture. And their wine is consulted by Stéphane de Renoncourt, and they are coming from a terroir in Blaye appellation, and the wine is you've probably tasted it, Per. My point of view is it's a really one that is very silky and with a nice texture, fine texture, and very fruity. And this is really above the average of what you get in this appellation. And this is a nice approach. Then next to it, you have another wine estate, which is in the Languedoc, in La Clappe. La Clappe is one of the 5 crus of Languedoc. There are only 5 crus in Languedoc, and La Clappe is one of them. It's a pristine area surrounded by water, where there's not much diseases, and they don't need to treat very much the vineyard. No pesticides much. So it's very natural, very pure, and the way he makes the wine is also very pure. He uses amphoras that gives a special texture to the wine and a lot of finesse. And many of the cuvées are bottled without sulfites.
And what is the objective of this project with WineFunding?
This project of Domaine Sarat-Goundi in La Clappe in Languedoc is to buy jars of earthware jars to make white cuvée. He's already amphoras.
Terracotta amphoras.
So he's already making terracotta. He's already making a red wine in terracotta amphoras, but this is a little bit too porous for white wine. So he's using an earthenware amphora, which is cooked at higher temperature. So it is less. It allows less air to come into the wine.
Right.
We were really talking about small quantities of oxygen. Even in the terracotta, it's small quantities, but it's okay for the red. It's very good for the red. It gives it some finesse and patina, but it's too much for the white. So for the white, he wants to buy other type of amphoras, which are made of earthenware. So this is the second project. Then at the back, we have another project in Languedoc, Mas Gabriel, who makes delicious organically certified wine from varietals from the area, Grenache of course, some Carignan, including Carignan Blanc, which is not very common.
Very rare, yes.
And they want to plant 2 new blocks of vineyard, one of Grenache, because they don't have enough, and one of Cinsault. So it's interesting to plant Cinsault because a lot of people view Cinsault as a low quality wine, but it's not the case actually. It's also bringing a lot of freshness and finesse to the wine. If you don't let the vine produce too much, it can bring a lot of freshness to the wine. This is what now a lot of consumers are looking for, especially from Languedoc, where sometimes the wine can be a bit heavy and rich. I think it's a great idea that they bring the plant Cinsault. And the interesting thing about Mas Gabriel is that they are planting these vines in massal selection. So they are not going to plant clone, which is what most of the wine estates have been doing for the past 50 years. All the vines are identical, they are clones. In this case, they selected on blocks of the best grape varieties in the region, the best plants. And they took these plants that they grafted and they are going to put it in the vineyard. So we're looking forward in 3 years' time to taste these new wines from Mas Gabriel.
The important question then, I guess, is if I'm interested in investing in wine with crowdfunding, what do I need to do?
As a wine funder, it's very simple. You just go online on winefunding.com. You select the project you like. When you click on the project, you see a lot of details, and you can really become part of the vineyard already. We'll provide a lot of information about the estate, the way they work, the review, the press reviews from the wine, expert committee review of all the wines, so that you can make sure that all the wine is good quality, and you pick the one you like. Then, if you have a chance to be at a fair like today, you can also taste the wines. But we have a lot of wine funders actually who have only been online. They live in another country or they live far. And
it can be anywhere. You don't
can
have
be anywhere.
To be in France, where we are today.
No, we just have extra shipping costs to ship abroad, but it's also possible, of course, because the internet is open, so anyone can go online and register on WineFunding, choose the project they want, and they can give taste to the investment.
Maxime, WineFunding. Thank you very much.
Thank you.